In .NET development community, there is a lot of confusion regarding .NET collections. Now, this confusion is not from the fundamental aspect. In other words, people are not confused that what is a collection and what are the benefits of collection, etc. But they're confused because of the different flavors of .NET collection. So if you look at the whole collection package given by .NET Framework, you have list, you have array list, you have hash tables, queues, stacks, and added on the top you have generics. And also, apart from this, people are confused regarding the interfaces given by .NET collections, like IEnumerable, iList, iCollection. What are these and what is the use of these collection interfaces? So in this whole video series, we're going to explore .NET collections end to end. So what we'll do is, let's start with the first video of .NET collection question and answer video series. What are the different types of .NET collections and how they differ from each other? So first what we'll do is, let's look into the overall theory aspect of .NET collections, and let's see that what are the different types of .NET collections. And as we move ahead in the video series, we'll start seeing practical demos of each of the .NET collection entity. So before we move ahead, let's first define collections. Collections are nothing but they are a group of records which can be treated as one logical unit. For example, you can have a country collection which has a country code and a name. You can have a product collection which has a product code and a name, or you can have some kind of a personal record collection like with security number and person name, or must be some kind of a books collection which has book names as well as the ISBN number. So at the end of the day, collection is nothing but it's group of records which you can treat as one logical unit. .NET collections are divided into 4 important categories: index based, key value pair, prioritized collections, and specialized collections. Let's first start with the first 2 categories, that is index based and key value pairs. Now in index based, we have 2 different kinds of collections, or we have 2 types of collections, that is array and list. And in key value pair, we have hash table and sorted list. So what we'll do is, first let's try to understand the first 2 categories, that is index based and key value pair, and later we'll move towards the other categories, that is prioritized and specialized collections. Here's a simple example of a country collection. This country collection has country records and with country code and country name. Now what happens is, whenever you add any record to a .NET collection, must be hash table, must be list, or must be array, or whatever it is, it maintains its own internal index number. This internal index number is auto generated by the .NET collection, and by using this index number he identifies the record. Index based collections help you to access the value of the row, or helps you to access the row of the collection by using the internal generated index numbers by the collection. So if you remember right, the index based collections have 2 types of collections. One is the array and the other one is a list. So for example, if you want to access India, right, then for that you have to say array of 0. So this will give you the value India. If you say list of 0, it will give you the value India again. So in other words, index based collections, they help you to access the value of the record by using the internal generated index numbers. But in real projects, you would rarely use the internal index numbers to get the record, right? You would probably use some kind of a key. So for example, if you want to get India, right, probably you would like to use the IND or USA. So you would like to get the value of the record by using a key. And that's where we have the next kind of collections, that is the key value pair. So if you want to get a record by using a key, then you will either use a hash table or a sorted list. So for example, if you use a hash table here, probably you can say hash table of IND. So this will give you the value India. So in other words, index based approach or index based collections help you to get the value using the internal generated index numbers or internal generated index values of the collection, while key value pair basically helps you to look up the value by using a user defined key. For example, in this example it is like IND, USA, NEP, so that we can get the value of the record. Now we have one more collection, that is prioritized collection. And in prioritized collection we have stacks and queues. So let's talk about this collection, that is prioritized collection. Queues and stack help you to access elements in a particular sequence. For example, queues use the FIFO methodology to access the elements. So for example, whichever is the first element which has come inside the collection will be the first element which will go out. While stack uses the LIFO methodology, that means whichever is the last element which has come in will be the first element to come out. So in other words, if you're looking at a particular sequence of accessing the elements, for example the LIFO and FIFO, then probably you will use the prioritized collections, that is queues and stacks. The last section is the specialized collection. Now, specialized collection is a very, it's a very special category, where there are very special collection. For example, there are 2 or 3 different types of string collections, which is very specifically meant for strings. Okay. For example, there is a hybrid dictionary, which starts first as a list and then becomes a hash table. So the last category, that is specialized collection, is nothing but it's like a out of the box collection meant for a very specific purpose. So in general, we have 4 categories of collections in .NET: index based, key value pair, prioritized, and specialized. In index based, we have array and list, which helps you to access the elements by using the internal index value specified by the collection. In key value pair, basically you use the key of the record or of the collection to access the value. Prioritized collection helps you to access the elements in a particular sequence, like FIFO or LIFO. And then finally, we have specialized collections, which are very special collections which are meant for a specific purpose, like the hybrid dictionary, which starts as a list and then becomes a hash table. So, this was an overall view of .NET collections. Now, from the next session onwards, or from the next question onwards, we'll see some examples of how to code array, list, and we'll see that what's the difference between array and list and when to use what.